frame and the more powerful 9mm Parabellum cartridge, it was designed to be sleeker, deadlier, and better suited for guerrilla warfare.
You were doing so good. You don't look like much taller than everyone. Good, Moss. Leave that corner all the way up left. That's wild. Oh my. Oh, never mind. Yeah, I don't know what that dude just did. He looked good. Get there. Get there. Good.
Welcome back, everybody. Another holiday edition here of Whatever Wednesday, where we look at whatever we find interesting in the game at that given time. Today, that is the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors in their run and shoot offense. We talked a little bit about on our Christmas Day video where we went over my 5 favorite offensive styles. This is kind of the only one we have left. We haven't really took a deeper look at, or of course we've used them in the campus tour series, but we haven't really done a full breakdown and film review that we've been doing here recently. This is the last one left to figure. Let's just knock it out. Let's just get it done.
Hey chef, can you make me something with $10? Bucks? I got you.
Chicken wings, instant noodle, green onions, carrot, bok choy, soy sauce, cornstarch, chicken bouillon. Today we're gonna make heavy Italian. First thing we're gonna do is debone our chicken. Take this, and we're gonna make chicken broth out of it. Chicken bones, chicken bouillon. Next step, marinate our chicken. Soy sauce, we're gonna mix. Set that aside. We're gonna throw these guys in here. Soy sauce, chicken bouillon, black pepper, brown sugar. Marinate that. Fry our Asian chicken wings.
Wow.
Strain the noodles. So we're gonna fry our noodles. See that? Transfer it. Okay, so now we're gonna bring it all together. Marinated chicken, carrot, bok choy, scallion, chicken broth that we made, ramen packet, cornstarch, water, give that a mix. Add that right in. Now it's time to flip our wings here. Gorgeous. Green onion curls, ramen townie. Our sauce, pour this right here. Danny, I just turned your $10 into 2 gourmet meals.
Let's dig in. Chow mein. Hey chef, can you make me something with $10? Bucks?
So this
Here's a realistic day in my life working 2 jobs and building a business that saved $80,000. First vehicle of the day is this 2002 Ford Explorer. Customer stated that he had his check engine light on, so I pulled out my scanner and scanned for codes. The code that I found was E0304, indicating a misfire at cylinder number 4. So what I did was go on ALLDATA and find out the firing order. Once I found that out, I pulled out the ignition coil. As soon as I pulled it out, I found corrosion. This is going to be the cause of our misfire. While we're waiting for parts, I decided to start cleaning our driveway since it had a bunch of oil and fuel stains on it. What I did was wet it all the way up, put the greaser on it, and grabbed the broom, started putting some elbow grease and scrubbing it down as best as I could. I didn't have my power washer since the hose broke, but now the part got into the shop. I went ahead and replaced it.
And this crowd coming to life, you're trying to help the defense get a stop. The offense will get back. The back's got it. Physical run earns the first down. Man, this is exactly how you want to start an opening drive on the road for this offense.
Here the codes and the misfire is no longer present. Today I don't work out tomorrow, so thanks for watching. Bye.
Things in China that make no sense, but also kind of make a lot of sense for China. Starting off strong with this human claw machine that we saw at the mall. Yeah. Next up, you can buy very legit prescription glasses for $20. They'll go even lower if you're good at haggling, and they're made and ready for you in 20 minutes. There are often 2 different toilet options in bathrooms with labels on the doors, same on trains. And speaking of trains, you can pre-order food and drinks from Starbucks, McDonald's, etc. before your train, and once the train is in motion, your food gets delivered to your seat. Chinese people love their tea, and there's not as much emphasis placed on toxic masculinity, so there's no such thing as too girly or not manly enough. Live shopping is a big thing here. We saw people streaming live shops in multiple brand name stores like Nike and stuff. There are endless, and I mean endless, rows of identical high-rise condos and even more endless bike shares all over the place. People will unironically wear things like this because they don't know what the English says. Same energy as when people get Chinese pictures tattooed on them, I feel. And in China, mung bean popsicles are super popular and sold literally everywhere. Don't worry, they're sweet. And things in China that make no sense, but also kind of make a lot of sense.
Against New Theater on Heisman difficulty. We've got one more of these coming out. It's going to be on this coming Saturday using San Jose State in their shred and spread offense. We have an online
commenting. It's like, no way only 2 QBs go in the first round. It's like, you don't know the quarterback class then because it's just not especially good. Can we see 3? I mean, teams always need quarterback. I guess it's a possibility, but this is not a good quarterback here. It really isn't. So I think Travis Hunter just could be the first overall pick. He really is a generational talent. He is a superstar receiver, even better at corner. I mean, he really can do it all. He's a tremendous player. And for the Patriots, just get the best player in the draft. It's Travis Hunter, and it seems like a no-brainer pick at number 1. I saw Nick Wright from TV. I don't know what show he's on, but I know he was on First Take briefly. Said, here's a totally non-insane scenario where the Patriots trade the first pick but still stay in the top 5 and get Drake May and Travis Hunter, fire Gerard Mayo, and get Dion. I can't remember the exact specifics. That was the gist. It was absolute insanity. I can't see that happening. I can see them getting Travis Hunter, though, and I think he will be the first overall pick in this scenario. Down quarterback here, we might see a non-QB go at number 1 overall. It's weird to see a non-QB, non-D-line, non-tackle go at 1, but I think Travis Hunter is that special of a player. But at number 2, I think that leaves the Titans in prime quarterback position. And even though it's not a great class, I do think we will see 2 go inside the top 10, inside the top 5, maybe inside the top 3. But that might be it for the first round. At this point, it's kind of a toss-up between Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders. Do you want the guy that's way better now in Shedeur Sanders, or the guy with way more upside potentially in Cam Ward? That's really what you're playing at. I know Ward has incredible numbers. He's just not particularly accurate. If you look at some of these, weighted on target percentage for throws, he's just not especially good. It was at like 61% compared to a guy like Jaden Daniels last year, who was at like 76%. Jaden Daniels was an awesome prospect. These guys, you can latch onto something. Like Sanders is accurate. Ward has good arm talent, good improvisational ability, but you're latching onto that. It's not like, oh my, these guys are superstar QB prospects. They're really not. They can develop, they can be solid, or maybe even above average NFL starters if they reach their peak, but it's far from a given any year, but even more so this year. With that being said, who do you want here? We'll go with Shedeur Sanders. I just do think he's going to be the first QB off the board. Again, Ward maybe has more potential. Sanders is the better quarterback prospect in my opinion. He's just way more accurate, and I think that really does matter at the quarterback position. The Titans end up getting their guy, which means at number 3 overall, the Browns will get their guy. That's going to be Cam Ward for Miami in this scenario. Pairing up with a former Miami player, never teammates of course, but David Njoku, another first-round pick out of Miami. And we really have not seen many the past several years. That's kind of why I mentioned that. Have there been any in between Njoku and now Cam Ward? Surely, right? I think Philip Dorsett was before Njoku. I think he was 2015. Njoku, I think, was 2017. Am I missing? Greg Rousseau, of course, and Jalen Phillips. Those might be the only 2. I'm trying to think of anybody on offense. I'm struggling to think of anybody, but those 2 for sure. Anyway, irrelevant at the moment. Maybe a DB in there as well. Hard to say. At number 4, though, have the New York Giants on the clock. It's a weird spot for the Giants because obviously they need a quarterback, but there's not a quarterback to take. So do you want to go offense? Do you want to go defense here? I think overall it should be best player available in mind, but edge is not really one of those positions I see the Giants investing a really high pick in. Although, I do think Abdul Carter could be a really, really fun player with the Giants. Of course, they pass on Micah Parsons under Dave Gettleman. And Abdul Carter doesn't necessarily need to be an all-the-time edge. He can be somebody that can play off the ball. We've seen it at Penn State. But he's really becoming an incredible edge rusher. Could be a fun fit for the Giants, but I don't think they do it in that scenario. I think Will Johnson would end up being the selection here, just because the Giants really are struggling at corner. Their defense is not especially good, and Deonte Banks is not really everything you wanted him to be at this point in his career. You've got a really good slot corner in Drew Phillips. I think safety's potentially on the board as well, but Will Johnson, I guess, is your guy here at number 4 overall. He's one of the best players in the entire draft. One of the best corners, of course, but he and Travis Hunter at corner, I think, are really, really close. Whereas Travis Hunter, of course, can play receiver. But in terms of being the better corner, Will Johnson's right there, maybe even better than Travis Hunter, is the number 4 overall pick for a reason. The Giants upgrade their secondary, which is in desperate need of a true boundary corner that's not just Deontay Banks. Will Johnson could be your CB1, Deontay Banks over to CB2. It's a better spot for him, probably. Jags at 5, though. This is interesting because there are a number of different ways you can go. You want to boost the trenches, maybe Mason Graham, or the other side of the ball. And I think we're going to go offensive line here. I'm going to go Kelvin Banks. Hook 'em horns, of course. Hook 'em horns. I do think he's got the best chance to stick a tackle between the two of those guys, Will Campbell and Kelvin Banks. I think that he could move inside to guard as well. He profiles well at guard, but I think he's got the best chance of those two to stick a tackle. And for the Jags, you could use a boost overall in the offensive line. So, I mean, Will Campbell certainly would make sense here. But I think if you decide to go with an offensive lineman and Trent Baalke is still your general manager, I don't think Will Campbell will meet the thresholds that Baalke's looking for. You know, part of the reason Trayvon Walker was the first overall pick was the arm length, right? The incredible length in the trenches, and obviously the top-tier athleticism. He's become a very good player, by the way. Most people don't really want to recognize that, but he's been a pretty good player for Jacksonville. Goes under the radar because they're not a very good team. But Banks, I think, has a better fit for Jacksonville if Trent Baalke's still the GM. Better chance to take a tackle, as I say, so I think he will be the 5th overall pick in this scenario. But it wouldn't shock me to see Mason Graham. It wouldn't shock me to see Will Campbell. Wouldn't shock me to, see them potentially move out of this pick if we were doing trades. Panthers at number 6. I'm going to go back to Abdul Carter. I think he's just the best player available here, clearly to a team that desperately needs to improve their defense and especially their pass rush. Abdul Carter, I think, is an easy selection there at 7 or 6. But things get a little bit more interesting here at 7 because the Jets could go offense. They need QB potentially. Aaron Rodgers is not it. They could definitely use a receiver. Who knows if Devontae Adams will be back, right? Their defense could definitely use a boost. And I think it's very easy to just pencil in Mason Graham right now. Tenero McMillan, obviously, is in that conversation. But for the Jets, we really need to see what happens in this offseason before we can feel good about who they're potentially drafting. Because it's a little bit weird with Rodgers, with Devontae Adams, with their future. There are a lot of question marks. Raiders at 8, I think Tenero McMillan makes a ton of sense here. I considered Ashton Genty. I considered something in the trenches, had Mason Graham dropped. But, Jalen Walker could be fun too. Is a real fun kind of sometimes stand-up, sometimes pass rush type guy. I think Walker can play off the ball and on the ball. He's really fun on the ball, explosive off the edge, but he's shown the ability to play off the ball as well. He's really good in run defense in that regard. Can stack and shed, make tackles, sideline to sideline type range. Really, really fun player, but finding his fit can be a little bit interesting because he's just a little undersized to be a true full-time edge rusher, but in the right spot, a 3-4 defense, I think he's going to be a pretty good fit somewhere. But Raiders at number 8, I am going to go Tenero McMillan, as I said, or as at least mentioned. No more Devontae Adams. You're obviously looking to get a QB in this class, but you're just not in position. And which of these teams is going to trade out to let you get a QB? Are the Patriots going to move back to 8, potentially out of range of a blue-chip player, in order for you to get your QB? It might not be worth it. More picks is not always better, right? So it can seem that way, but also you want to be able to hit on the player that you draft, and you want to trade out of the range of some of these top players in the draft in order to get maybe a first-round pick, maybe a top 10 pick next year, maybe it's top 20. Who's to say how good the Raiders are going to be? But all that stuff gets factored in. Sometimes it just doesn't make sense, right? I know it's easy to say, we'd very easily move down just to 8 to get a first-round pick next year, if that's even what's being offered, which I think from 8 to 1 it would be, even in a down QB year. But regardless of that, Tenero McMillan is the pick here at number 8. No trade, so it's pointless to speculate at this point. McMillan is a wide receiver 1 type potential guy. Goes off the board in the top 10. Yeah, you lose Devontae Adams. I don't think Jacoby Myers can really, hold that offense on his back as your wide receiver 1 type. He's just not a wide receiver 1. And, you have Trey Tucker. They brought in Terrace Marshall, I found out. It's just not a particularly inspiring group. Tenero McMillan, at least, helps move that in the right direction. Bears fans, You're probably not sick of this, but I do it every time. Will Campbell, the Bears at 9. I think if he's on the board, he makes a ton of sense at guard, potentially even tackle. You know, the Bears need to upgrade that offensive line. Will Campbell is just, if he's available, he's the pick. Kelvin Banks, if he was available, he would be the pick there. If both of those guys are somehow off the board at number 9, things would get a little bit more interesting. Where do the Bears go in that sense? Maybe D-line, but O-line is still such a need. I don't know. Saints at number 10. We've been D-line here a lot. I'm going to go back to receiver. Going Luther Burden from Mizzou. He is a slot receiver, but I don't think he's necessarily slot exclusive. I think he could also be a Z type, but also like that's naturally how I view Chris Olave. But Olave has been such a good player for the Saints when he's on the field, when he's healthy. Burton, I think, would be a really nice complementary piece. He's so explosive, so good after the catch, so good with the ball in his hands overall. This is just a guy you want to get the football to him and let him work. I think you start to build a really nice combination of speed in that offense with, you know, if you're going to hold on to him long term, Rashid Shaheed, Chris Olave, Luther Burden. That's a pretty nice trio. And you have, you know, of course, some guys that come and rotate in. And it's interesting to see, you know, the Saints, how they're getting on without all these weapons. You know, if you can call, you know, Rashid Shaheed a weapon. I think he is as a deep threat personally, but he's not, you know, one of these top tier guys. It's just for me, I think the Saints, we've seen how good they can be offensively when they have weapons. I think Derek Carr with weapons can be an effective QB, even if I don't really value him as one of the top QBs in the league. But we really just have seen a ton of injuries and bad overall play from a Saints team this year. I think Burden is somebody that can help the offense. Long story short, that was really rambling, but I don't know. I really like talking football here, and I love the hypotheticals, obviously. That's why we have a mock draft here every Monday. But 49ers at number 11, going Mykel Williams in this spot. I think he could absolutely be a top 10 pick. It's just this combination of size and athleticism is rare. It's why Trayvon Walker was the first overall pick a few years ago. Obviously, you know, it fit with Trent Baalke at GM, you know, having those thresholds, looking for that big developable player piece, right? And I know the 49ers don't have Trent Baalke anymore, but Williams does have big-time upside. We know the Niners have to be better in the trenches, really on both sides of the football. Williams is a really good fit, and you have a healthy Nick Bosa on one side, Mykel Williams on the other. That's a good duo. Colts at 12, going Malachi Starks, and I think he's one of the best 5 or 10 players in the draft. He's available at 12. Within the next year, you will not have Nick Cross or Julian Blackmon under contract. I think Cross expires this year, and Blackmon expires after next year. He's very much in play. Starks can maybe find the field as a starter right away if Nick Cross is not back. And even if he is back, I think Starks is certainly a better prospect. We'll see if he ends up being a better player. But could maybe play in the nickel as well. I know you have a really good nickel corner, but, you know, find a space for this guy in the field. He's instinctive. He's a playmaker. The Colts need to upgrade their secondary. The top couple of corners are off the board. You take Malachi Starks, I feel like it's a pretty good fit. Cowboys at 13, no-brainer. Ashton Jeanty. You need to upgrade your running attack. It's a lot tougher to find somebody better than Ashton Jeanty to do that. I think at 13 it makes perfect sense. And we know, of course, I've ranted about it before, rambled about it before. The Cowboys love their Boise State players. And they're going to get a really, really good one. Maybe the best Boise State player they've ever drafted here at number 13. Although it'd be tough to beat DeMarcus Lawrence. Right? He was like a second or third round pick who's had quite a career. You know, Leighton Vander Esch was not always exactly what the Cowboys expected him to be, even though he had some run as a really good player, for sure. Cardinals at 14. This is a weird spot for me. I want to go on the interior, right? But I also think the edge could be improved a lot. And Jalen Walker, I feel like he's a really good fit in Arizona. And he can play off the ball if you need him to. And this guy is explosive as a pass rusher. I kind of see what, you know, you got out of Zaven Collins. I think Walker could have a similar type development. You know, again, we talked about 3-4 versus 4-3. Walker may be a better fit in a 3-4. But I think for a team, you know, like the Cardinals. You look at how DJ
Keep that clock
Ojulari
running.
potentially
Make
profiles
'em-
with that team, right?
Make them use the timeout.
Injury obviously has halted his growth as a player. It sucks to see that, but missed. I think
Greg
all of this
Nussmeier
year,
is at
right?
Alabama. That's
Jalen
crazy.
Walker can be someone that comes in right away and is versatile
Grant.
and impactful.
Garrett.
And he's getting too good to
I
be
don't know what I
available.
said before.
And you just go BPA here if you're the Cardinals. Nick Scorton, I could see. I could also obviously see James Pierce for the same reasons I talked up Jalen Walker. Shamar Stewart, if you want more of, the bigger presence along with Scorton in the trenches, he's 290, right? But I think Walker is just best player available in this spot. Really improves your pass rush. I could see a number of different arguments for a lot of these edge rushers. Bottom line is, I think it should probably be some type of defensive lineman, including edge rushers in that, of course. Some type of D lineman here if you're Arizona, because that's the strength of this class. There are a lot of really good ones available. It just depends what type you want, because a Scorton and Shamar Stewart are pretty different from Jalen Walker and James Pierce. It really just depends what type you want. Walker, I think, is a decent enough fit here and is the best player of the bunch. Pierce, I think, is the next closest, but Scorton and Stewart are really good too and are way bigger. It just depends what type you want. Again, I'm going to say that 5 or 6 times over. Like, I know the whole reason I just rambled about that. I know the Cardinals are a 4-3 defense, right? And I just said Jalen Walker is a better fit than 3-4. While that's probably true, Baron Browning, he's a free agent. This is your Baron Browning replacement right away. Long story short, or really long story long, or short story long. I don't know what's happening. Dolphins at 15. Going Derek Harmon. I continue to pound the table for Derek Harmon. I think he's one of the better players in the entire draft. He, outside of Mason Graham, is probably the next best interior defensive lineman in what is a good class. I would not shock me to see Walter Nolan or Kenneth Grant or Tyleik Williams at this pick.
Just want to get, what's I'm call it, David Taylor a little more yards.
But I think you're trying to replace Christian Wilkins still, and this is your penetrating 3-tech type player. He's so disruptive on the interior, and he's been so instrumental and impactful for that Oregon defense. Part of the reason why they've been so good this year. Bengals at 16. I feel like this is a really good fit. Shamar Stewart. It's the body type also that the Bengals really seem to like. Stewart, again, I think could be versatile enough to move to the inside sometimes. He's huge, but he's really, really athletic. He's just a freak player, and if you can develop him, you're going to have a monster type player. He's like your juiced up Keon White, even though White's been kind of like misutilized this season for New England, but he really is flashed. I think Stewart can end up being a Keon White type player, and they're both incredible athletes with big time size and versatility. Just feels like an awesome fit there in Cincinnati. They really need to upgrade their defense, obviously, as do the Falcons. Falcons at 17. I've done this quite a few times, but I'm going James Pierce Jr. He's just such a good pass rusher. And I look at the Falcons, it's tough to find something that they need more than an upgraded pass rush. I know Evan Katie's come on a little bit. You still have Matt Judon, who you traded for, but James Pierce Jr. under contract now for a minimum of 4, maybe 5 years with the 5th-year option. It's just a really, really good player to add to the mix. You need to improve your pass rush. Pierce helps you do that. At 18, going with Josh Simmons from Ohio State to Seattle. Coming back from injury, but man, he was really, really good prior to going down with injury in 2024. He has potential to be one of the best tackles in this class. I think he could have been the first tackle off the board if he stayed healthy. I think he was genuinely that good this year. And of course has, pretty good tackle size at 6'5", 310. I think longer arms, especially compared to Will Campbell, that could have made him the first tackle off the board. Injury pushes him down a bit, but is a good pickup here to Seattle at number 18. And at number 19, it's another team looking for offensive line help, and I will be giving it to him. Jonah Savaiinaea. Somebody's like, you're mispronouncing that. It's on the Arizona website. It is on the Arizona website. Where do you think I learned how to say it? It's pronounced Savaiinaea. Jonah Savaiinaea. It's exactly how he says it. I promise you. I try to do my research as much as I can when it's available. Not every school has a media guide with a pronunciation guide or a Dropbox with the player actually saying how to pronounce their name. Arizona, thankfully, is one of those schools that does. Florida is another one, but you know, a school like Mizzou couldn't find it for Armand Membu, so I just hope I'm saying it right in that case, right? But anyway, the Texans desperately need to upgrade their offensive line. Savaiinaya has experience at tackle and guard. I think he's good enough to stick at tackle, but was great at guard. So you just got a versatile guy here who can do it all. Yeah, you know, I don't know if I'd move him to center, but you don't have to. So that's a good thing if you're the Texans. Guard or tackle, depending on exactly what you need. In this scenario, you're probably keeping Laramie Tunsil and moving Savaiinaya inside. And, you know, Titus Howard at right tackle, that's probably what happens. Now, I know Howard has played and is playing guard, but what does it mean for Blake Fisher? I mean, Howard just really isn't all that good, so he just might be gone, right? Like, that's also a possibility. Maybe you keep him on as a 6th or a 7th offensive lineman. There's potential here, but anyway, however you want to do it, whether Howard stays or not, or is gone, or is moved back to tackle, or stays at guard, or Shaq Mason's gone, you need to upgrade your interior O-line and potentially tackle Savaiinaya. I think it's just a good fit overall, but probably playing guard in this scenario. Broncos at 20. We're back to Colston Loveland here. Very athletic, very good receiving tight end. I just think it's a good fit there in Denver. Bucks at 21. When Nick Scorton got to improve this pass rush. Scorton, again, maybe a better fit for a 4-3, and that's not exactly what this Tampa Bay defense is, but he's also
is that Jaden?
Big-time pass rusher, has been really productive in the past. Could be a strong side defensive end, and you feel pretty good about it. You know, he's a big dude. You know, 6'4", 285. He's like a classic Steve Spagnuolo type pass rusher.
Big freaking Rican, man.
He's athletic enough and is obviously quite a good pass rusher. Yaya Diaby's been a good player this year, but Tryon Shoyinka is likely gone. At number 22, obvious pickup of Tyler Warren here, maybe the best overall tight end in the draft. He can block. He's 6'6", 260. I think he's going to be a really good fit with Jim Harbaugh. And, of course, Loveland off the board. Top receivers off the board, really. Warren just ends up...
I know you ain't got my headphones.
I didn't mention Ladd McConkey.
I know you ain't got my headphones.
The Chargers receiving core, I guess I thought it was kind of like too obvious. He's been such a great player this year. But he's not a wide receiver 1, right? He's producing a ton, but he's not a wide receiver 1, right? Doesn't have the body type. He's a classic Z, can play the slot, obviously, as well. Obviously has good speed, but he's not a wide receiver 1. He can be really productive, like Jackson Smith and Jigba. It's not a wide receiver 1, but can be really productive. Amon-Ra St. Brown, not a wide receiver 1 type, but can be really productive in that offense. It depends on...
Boy, you niggas just... Boy, that nigga you listening to stupid.
X-style receiver, bigger body, plays on the outside.
He's talking about just a true X receiver.
Some of these slot guys...
Stupid.
Amon-Ra is the number 1, but he's not an X.
You can't say the same about Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Jackson Smith and Jigba is not an X.
You don't think Jackson, bro? You ain't he ain't got a chance to be the X.
I don't think he is an X. I mean, he can beat a press, but nah, I don't think he's an X.
I don't think he can carry an offense. So I think, you know, if you were in position for...
That's why they have DK, so to alleviate that pressure off him.
No. They got DK because they had DK already. That niggas, bro. I'm sleep on Jackson Smith and Jigba, bro.
Ain't nobody sleep on Jackson Smith and Jigba. Niggas just don't think he's a true X.
McConkey's a great player. I think people are going to misinterpret.
You don't think he can line up outside the X and play X?
For a full season, I don't think he's going to do that. No. I don't think he's built.
I feel like the only reason you won't see that out of them guys though is because they move around.
I mean, yeah, like the true X in the NFL today is not the same thing as it was a while ago. Like everybody can play every position. Everybody can play X, Y, and Z and move around.
You said Malik Neighbors is a true X?
You don't find those guys every day. He's a really, really good player. Of course, you wanted to see a little bit more from him.
I don't know.
You say no, then that means
I haven't seen Malik Neighbors play enough to be like, okay, this nigga can be like that nigga to beat the press and go win outside like that. Just haven't watched him.
But
I can admit that.
Just look at the last game, man.
You go Ariante Ursary,
Yeah.
I feel like it's hard to call anybody a true X unless they is like a DK Metcalf with Tyler Lockett and Jackson Smith and Jigma on their team.
Oh, I mean, when you...
Because Jackson Smith and Jigma, you probably never going to see him as an X simply because how much success he can be schemed to in the slot.
When I think of X, I'm thinking mainly of like body type. This nigga has touchdowns and just missing it. Like DK is a true X just because he's 6'4", 230. He's just bigger and stronger than anybody he's gonna go against. I don't think there's many receivers like that in the NFL besides like DK, AJ, oh no, AJ Brown.
Okay, cool. Yep.
Who you think I was talking about?
Fucking Green. I don't know what the hell. I forgot all about AJ Brown.
Yeah, AJ Brown. Who else is just a big receiver? I don't know. I think Brian Thomas is the true X.
Because all of them have been hurt, with the exception of Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
His season was ended prematurely, right?
They put that nigga. Brian Thomas is a fucking dog, nigga.
Benjamin Morrison's season over.
That nigga a dog. Niggas thought he was just good for real because he played alongside Neighbors.
Yeah.
That nigga QB proof too.
You saw the tweet that the top 5 out of 6 receivers in the NFL are from Louisiana.
Yeah, to do with that shit bullshit. They tried to count CD as, man, CD is from Texas. Talking about, yeah, he from Acapulco, whatever, Louisiana, but he moved here. He moved here at 6 and played football all, like, man, that nigga Texas, man. But that is crazy, bro.
Yeah.
They from Louisiana and most of them went to LSU.
Exactly.
95% of them.
Yeah, CD's the only one that didn't.
If he would have stayed in fucking, what's the name, he would have probably went to LSU, but, you know, being in Texas, Oklahoma, that's a good little influence they can have on you.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was good.
TD Lamb is nasty at Oklahoma, too. Playing alongside Marquise Brown. He was like the second receiver. Then the following year, that nigga just... Oh.
A little bit weird, and that's why he's kind of falling out in the first round. A lot of these mocks that people are doing, but
if y'all don't get one of the QBs, who you want?
Potentially upgrade corner, but I think they have more pressing needs, especially in the trenches.
Cause I seen this nigga who's doing the mock draft right now gave y'all Will Johnson.
Not have a problem with that. We need corner bad.
Yeah.
Will Johnson, shit, nigga. Mason Graham. Mason Graham, a dog. I wish we had the luxury of waiting on. Yeah.
He's got really good potential, and I think combine him with Matabike, you have something special on the interior.
Mason Graham, Will Johnson. Shit. If no QB there. No, the Patriots will take Travis Hunter.
Yeah, they'll take him.
I don't know besides them.
No, like no pass rushers besides Mason Graham?
No, fuck no.
Okay.
No. Ain't no way. Unless we can get a second for Kayvon and some more shit, bro. I'm not trading no damn, not draft no pass rusher. But then again, nah, we can't. If we not trading Kayvon, we can't draft the pass rusher, bro. Because I know I'm cool with drafting the best player available if Abdul Carter the best player available. But that would be so fucking dumb. Who are you benching?
I mean,
you don't
just
need
a rotation.
Pass rushers.
Just a rotation.
Bro, no, rotation for pass rushing is not that. It's not that key on our team when we have so much shit to worry about. It's not like a Nolan Smith. The Eagles drafted Nolan Smith with the first pick and a 30-second pick of the first round. Like, no, we got way more. I'd rather them they draft the nigga from McMillan from Arizona. Yeah. Right, them draft him before they draft the edge rusher. Fuck no.
Dan Campbell at head coach, Jack Campbell at linebacker, Jahad Campbell.
Or what else? Who else we got? Let me see, cause I'm forgetting all the prospects. Kelvin Banks, offensive tackle,
Mm-hmm.
Texas. I won't be mad at that. I think
You
he
putting
played
him at my
left tackle
guard?
though.
Are you gonna put him at my guard or put him at tackle?
Need to put what's the name at guard? Evan Neal, big ass. He not good in space. I haven't seen a lot of Luther Burton. That's crazy.
Really good. It just feels like a great fit in Detroit.
Yeah.
Versatile player, and I think that's really, really going to play well there in Detroit with the Lions, who've just been on some type of a run the past couple of years. They could win the Super Bowl this year, and I really feel that way of the next team.
Ashton Genty gonna be a dog in the NFL. I ain't gonna lie.
Really good.
I see a lot of people have them go to the Cowboys, but the Cowboys are like the top #1 option I see him go to.
He gonna be a dog. No matter where he go, he gonna be a dog for sure.
I seen Cowboys and Bengals.
Marion Hampton's a big back at 6'1", 220.
Yeah, but the #4 pick though, Will Johnson, Mason Graham. Mason Graham on my home. Mason Graham with Dexter Lawrence, bro. Oh my God.
Me personally, I want Mason Graham.
Mason Graham is great.
We
bro.
need interior D-line. Like, I don't think you have the #1, like the worst rush defense if you like have 2 defensive tackles. Like, I don't think we're that bad if we have 2 defensive tackles.
Mason fucking Graham, bro.
Hillel Mullings was good. Raheem Sanders, Rocket Sanders, been awesome in the past. Nick Singleton can go a lot higher than this.
Some of these mock drafts still be stupid. Why would the Titans? You think the Titans gonna draft Teotaro McMillan with the 2nd pick?
Over a QB now.
I believe Cleveland ain't drafting a quarterback before I believe fucking Tennessee not.
I don't think they draft a quarterback.
You don't think so? I wouldn't be surprised.
I just think they're way too locked in with Deshaun Watson. Like, I don't know. I don't think this is a Kirk Cousins situation. Like, I think they're a little too locked in with Deshaun
That's what I'm saying.
Watson.
Like that, niggas. I don't know. We can't even just talk about Deshaun Watson, the football player, no more. It's always some other shit going on. But Deshaun Watson, the football player, last year his line, like literally left tackle, right tackle, starting left guard. We talking about all pros, nigga, out.
He ran out of bounds. He ran out of bounds. He didn't run out of bounds. Okay.
Let me see. Will John. See, that's why I wish I had a team that didn't have to worry about certain positions, bro. Like, imagine being able to worry about drafting a Mason Graham or Will Johnson, like, for sure. Like, fuck quarterback. We can worry about this. This draft might be a little ass, though. Some of these niggas is like, Malachi Starks, the safety from Georgia. I mean, unless he do good in his little last 2 playoff games or however long they last, bro, that nigga been looking mid this year. Who else they got going first round? Kenneth Grant from Michigan, a D-lineman, he nice. Jalen Walker, the edge, he nice. He cool. James Pierce Jr., I don't know what the fuck he done did this year, but he dropped all the way.
I've been seeing, like, in the early stages of, like, mock drafts, I've been seeing him going, like, in the top 5. Now I see him drop way down.
Top 20 pick. Yeah. Luther Burton is pretty low from, like, I thought he was going to be the best receiver. Yeah, this draft gonna be interesting. See who actually get drafted versus see these weak ass mock drafts. Oh shit! Can't believe we won that fucking game, bro. Now they got a decision to make. Jalen Milroe can't do nothing, boy. That boy suck.
Damn.
I don't know what they want him to. He need to declare for the CFL, nigga. That boy buns.
No, it's 2-minute warning. Let me just run this ball out. Let me do what the Blue Devils couldn't. Oh, god damn, move. Oh, I lost.
Trying to watch the Rivals 1v1 videos. Nigga, these niggas they ain't never posted this. Where is it at?
I forgot all about those.
I feel like the Under Armour All-America practice already happened, but they ain't posted it on YouTube.
Never mind, I didn't lose. I'm just better than he is. Forgot about that. I'm glad Vince waited till I could play this game. I should never have a loss to Kentucky.
What the hell?
Let me just try to blitz him so he can't get the ball off. Because he's just going to throw a streak. We all know it. He still threw the streak. That was definitely a PI.
In a row. I hear that shit. That shit ain't clear though. You had to show me something too. How you say There's no dimples, they got choppers with no head. And with some niggas, I'm a fish. No Malcolm, no, I ain't the man in the middle. I'm on the block and we
I mean, I definitely could have had like a first down right there.
show y'all something. Tell my cousin birthday. You see him?
What the world? Yeah, bro. If we trade Kayvon, I understand Abdul Carter, bro. If we don't trade Kayvon, that'd be crazy. This would be genuinely crazy to see how they gonna make this work. Damn, bro, like, this is crazy when you had so many problems you can't even draft BPA, man. Abdul Carter looking crazy, bro. On some Micah Parsons for real. His bend is crazy. Like, he shouldn't even be. He could really play running back. No edge rushers supposed to, bro.